Chairman, I beg to move that the total sum to be allocated for Head Q of the estimates be reduced by $100. Singapore is progressing surely and steadily in our digital transformation. With this come several competing considerations that we need to balance. On the one hand, for survival and to keep relevance, Singapore has to continually invest in next-mile infrastructure and our people. When others look at 5G, we must look at 6G. And when others look at Web 3.0, we must imagine Web 4.0. And our people must have the skills and versatility to take advantage of the new opportunities. Yet, to preserve social cohesion and inclusive growth, Singapore also must ensure that the less digitally savvy amongst us are not inadvertently left behind or excluded from participating and benefiting from digitalization, which could widen the gap between those who know and know not. There are other considerations as well. How to leverage digital solutions on a larger scale to solve real problems, yet guarding against cyber attacks. How to incentivize businesses to go digital, and in doing so, how to ensure accountability without making the process so cumbersome that businesses lose steam. These are not necessarily mutually exclusive, but they require careful balancing and calibration. Take my elderly resident as an example. She wanted to apply for CareShield Life, but the only mode of application was through the e-service and thus requires SingPass. For the digitally savvy, this will be fuss-free and save time. But she has no mobile phone or SingPass. Eventually, her daughter managed to apply for the SingPass and link it to her daughter's phone. What if my elderly resident was a single elderly? I would like to ask, how will the government uphold economic vibrancy and Singapore's competitiveness while preserving social cohesion? How will the government ensure that the public and private sectors will go digital with empowerment and inclusion as prerequisites? What will the government do to protect our people, young and old, and businesses, small and big, from new threats that emerge from this fast-evolving space? A related point is about digital regulations. As technology advances rapidly and new solutions with new use cases emerge, existing regulations need to evolve or new ones have to be formulated. But timeliness and finding the sweet spot seems to be challenging. Consider cryptocurrencies and NFTs. These are high risk and speculative and often seen as a tool for illicit activities. Hence, sufficient research and deliberation are needed before formal regulations and policies be introduced. But meanwhile, will we risk becoming too slow and lose potential opportunities? And with metaverse fast becoming a thing, will our policies and regulations be fast enough to capitalize on its development while addressing transactions, personal data, and user interaction issues? And in encouraging enterprises or individuals to digitalize or upskill through monetary incentives, might the process be so tedious such that they decide to remain in their comfort zones and stick to just being good enough and avoid digital transformation altogether? Hence, I would like to ask, how will the government ensure regulatory changes keep pace with tech advancement, and how do we ensure that we provide sufficient guardrails yet not suffocate innovation? Speaker, Chairman, do I continue with my next cut?
You finish your cut?
I've finished my first cut. So
you can carry on with the second cut.
Okay. Next one. Sir, what happens online can have spillover effects in the real world. Reports of precious lives lost to bully sites and life savings lost to online scams are aplenty. While nobody is immune, children, youths, women and elderly are especially vulnerable to online harms. Years ago, my resident's fiancé was a victim of revenge porn. Her ex-boyfriend uploaded intimate material onto websites such as revenge porn, attracting unsavory comments from people she knew and did not know. Thankfully, the then MDA blocked it. But the damage was done. And in general, women and girls tend to be victims of body shaming and hypersexualization online. In 2020, an elderly resident of mine fell prey to an online investment scam. He was misled to believe that the scheme was endorsed by SM Tharma, which is of course not true. Due to his lack of knowledge, he gave his one-time password away and raked up a huge credit card debt that he could not afford. While adults having gone through a few hard knocks in life can arguably cope better, youths and children are still in their innocence and need a lot more protection. The inaugural 2020 Child Online Safety Index report found that almost 60% of children aged between 8 to 12 years old in 30 countries were exposed to at least one form of cyber risks, of which 45% were affected by cyberbullying. Online harms cause distress and have long-term adverse consequences in real life. We must protect our people from such harms so that they can live freely and fulfill their potential. What are the support measures and resources available to raise awareness, prevent, and intervene to reduce online harm? Thank you.